Hi everyone, welcome to today's HuTalk session. We're just giving few more minutes. We were giving a few more minutes for people to be able to join. For those of you who are new here, HuTalks are live sessions where we invite experts and HR leaders to share ideas, trends, and actionable insights on the future of work and employee experience. My name is Cinzia Soro. I am an onboarding leader and a customer success manager here at Humand, and I am your host for today's HuTalk. In today's session, we'll talk about the future of employee experience. We'll explore how AI is transforming the way we connect, support, and engage people at work. What's changing, what's risks to consider, and what should always stay human. So I'm very happy to welcome our guest for today. You can already see her on the screen. Welcome to Ventsislava Nikolova. Hi, Vensi.
Hi.
Welcome to today's session. Vensi is an HR strategy, employer branding expert, and the founder of Workvibes, an agency focused on building meaningful workplace cultures that attracts and retain top talent. With over 10 years of experience, including leadership roles at Bulgaria's largest logistic company, she specializes in turning internal communications, leadership, and HR processes into real employee experiences. She has worked with companies across sectors to create strategies that not only look good from the outside, but feel real on the inside. And today, she helps organizations move from those empty slogans to genuine belonging. And I know, Vinci, that you're super passionate about this. Vensi is also the organizer of the Employer Branding Summit in Bulgaria, a gathering of leaders and platforms shaping the future of work. And as a regional partner of Humand, she supports companies in Bulgarian in rethinking how they connect with their people digitally and emotionally. I've known Vensi for about 5 years now, so I'm super excited to hear all the knowledge, all the practical advice that she's going to share with us today. So, Vensi, welcome, and just thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, Jean. I'm really happy to be here. I'm also a little bit nervous, and I love that we are going to talk about this topic because employee experience isn't just an HR function anymore. It's a strategic topic. It's about how we work, how we connect, and how we lead. And now that AI is becoming part of all of that, we need to talk about what to keep, what to improve, and what to lose in the process.
Exactly. Yes. Thank you. You're here because we know you have so much knowledge and like wisdom to share about this so that companies can get ready for these. So I have some questions for Vensi today, but of course, for the people that are watching, please start commenting, add your questions. We want this to be interactive. So if you can add your questions to the comments, I'll make sure I get to them a little bit later in the session as well. And just to get us started, Vensi, I wanted to ask, what does employee experience mean to you today? And how has that evolved? How have you seen that changing throughout your career? I mean, I just described your career, the amazing things you've been doing. So yeah, tell us a little bit about how you've seen it evolving.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for those words. In the beginning, I got a little bit red, if you can see. Uh, but for me, employee experience today includes all the small touch points between a company and its people. And it starts even before someone applies, and it doesn't end when they leave. It's the whole hiring process, it's the offer, the onboarding, the growth, the belonging, the offboarding, even how you keep in touch after your people are gone from the company. And when I think of EX, I usually think of it in three parts. It's the physical side, that actual place where people work. Then there is the digital side. Oh my god, sorry, this is the
We have
wristband.
another guest. That's the best.
My dog, I'm really sorry, just she hears something and she just goes. So I was saying, when I think of EX, I think of three things: the space, and then we have the cultural side, the values, the way people treat each other, the energy, and of course the digital space, the technology that we're using. So I've seen firsthand how all of three have to work together. And when I worked in the logistic company, as you know, where we met actually with over 4,500 people, we had to design employee experience for people who have never stepped in the office. And when you get those three spaces involved, you create something bigger. That's what changed things for us. And you asked me about evolution. So let's see how AI is coming into picture.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's where we're looking to now, right? About the evolution. So, with AI, when you think of how AI is entering the world of employee experience, for you, like, what are the first things that come to mind when you think of that?
Well, honestly, it's user experience, because for many years that part was missing from the employee side. We always talk about customer experience all the time, but the tools that we gave to our people, to our employees, are slow and disconnected. So many companies talk about being innovative, but when they hire people, they do it on paper. So how's that really innovative? Yeah. So AI brings a chance to improve that, to make things smoother, faster, easier across the whole journey of the employee, from helping candidates navigate to process the hiring process, to personalizing onboarding, to flagging early signs of disengagement, to giving recognition that actually makes sense for the one person that's receiving it. And something that I really care about is that AI can actually help us stay connected with the ex employees, with the alumni, the people who left the company but still carry the experience and the emotion of the company. And for me, this is a huge passion, because it's a huge missed opportunity for most of the companies. And I think that AI could help us keep those relationships with the alumni alive.
I love that. The part of the alumni is such an interesting one because you can continue to have all these advocates around, right? So yeah, absolutely. And then from your perspective, what role should AI play in shaping those employee experience? Like, what is AI doing through this journey?
Well, when I think of AI, I think of a child on a bike, and the AI is the third wheel. Like, it's not steering the wheel, it's a co pilot, and it's there to help you move forward. It gives support, but it shouldn't steer. And because at the end of the day, I am the person who is responsible for my own decisions as HR, it's not the AI. So we should use it with caution, because for me, AI should help us save time, spot patterns, maybe remove some friction, but it should also support clarity. So, my advice should be for people, especially in HR, if they AI can help us spend less time on admin or repetitive tasks and more time on connecting with people. So it's not about replacing humans and jobs, it's about giving us space to do the human part better.
Yeah, I love that. And as you talked about HR, so about automation in HR, what are the parts of the employee experience that you believe actually should always stay human?
Well, the human ones, I mean, the real connection, because this is one thing that AI can't really replace. Even when it's getting smarter and smarter, it's not human. So when someone is going through a hard time, they don't want a chatbot asking them, hi, how do you feel? They want a person who will listen. And
Yeah.
that's true whether if we're in the same room or in different countries as we are, because that feeling of being heard and seen, that's actually human. The same thing goes for appreciation. You can automate reminders for sure. You can know when this person has an anniversary, but the thank you only works if you actually mean it. And of course, let's not forget about trust, because that's built in small human moments between people, not through dashboards, not through chats. And to sum up, I think that AI can help, but it doesn't outsource the parts that actually make people feel like they matter and they're seen and heard.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Vensi. I think, yeah, speaking about what should stay human, yeah, is that connection is just such a key one that, yeah, you're absolutely right. So especially, I think, like you were saying, like we are in different spaces in companies that maybe are remote, like Humand, for example, or hybrid, or just, distributed teams. Sometimes certain teams work on the field, some in the office, some in different countries in multi national companies, etc. So distributed teams. So how do you think AI can enhance internal communications, especially for these type of teams, but without making it feel robotic?
Well, there is a slight chance that it does make it feel robotic, but
Mm,
AI can actually help us reach people better, but not replace the message really. I've worked with teams where people didn't even have email, no internet, no platforms, no laptops, just their phone and just maybe their phone. So here the challenge isn't what do we say, it's about how do we reach them at all because they're not connected. And AI helps us with that. It can target the right message to the right person at the right time. It can also suggest a format that fits, like a text, a voice, a notification, whatever just feels right. And it can even remind me that someone is on a night shift or maternity leave, but the tone that I'm using, the feeling, that still needs to come from us, from inside. And if the message feels fake or automated, people will ignore it because they can feel it, they can see it. So even if AI drafts the message, I always have to ask, would I send this to someone that I really
mm,
care about or not really, because it doesn't feel genuine and authentic. So that's where the human part stays, in the intention behind the message. AI can support the structure, of course, but we are still responsible, as I already said, for the meaning.
yeah, yeah, and your voice. Yeah, thank you. So meaningful connections. Then, what does it mean today for these first teams? Like, do we make sure like that we are still connecting, even in the same office?
Well, for me, it's not about being in the same office because I've worked in a company where people are not in the same office, and I've seen teams that meet every day and barely talk. And I've seen remote teams who support each other like their family, even though they've never met, like you and me, like for 5 years, probably.
Yes, definitely.
For me, connection today is more about emotional presence, not physical one. So, when I speak about meaningful connection, I want to know if I feel like I can be honest. Can I ask for help? Will someone actually listen to me, or they do just nod and just move on? But here's the problem with remote teams: you cannot just expect communication and meaningful connection to happen. You have to create the space for it, you have to be intentional for it. You need the rituals, even the small ones, like starting the day with a real good morning, not just a check in, I'm here, or sharing one win every Friday, or a personal situation that happened to you, or asking, how are you, but how are you really? And being ready to actually hear, actively listen the answer. I think that this is what builds trust, and this is what makes people feel seen and create meaningful connection. AI cannot create connection, but it can give us the time and space, especially the time to show up. But in the end, the real question is, do my people feel like they matter, that they're seen and heard? I've probably said that like 3 times already, but I'm going to say it again because for me, this is the employee experience.
Yeah, 100%. I think we should repeat this in every conversation when we talk about employee experience. So Thank you, Vensi. So when we talk about also, AI and all of these for improving, we also talk about improving the efficiency, but
Mm.
we want to always be more efficient and more productive, etc. So how do you think we can make sure that we're not chasing always the efficiency, but we are actually improving the human experience, like you were saying, like people to feel valued and all of this? How do we refocus on that human experience at work rather than this efficiency that we all companies are craving for?
Yeah. I love that question, by the way, because I had a training yesterday and the day before, and we were talking about efficiency and effectiveness, and the one versus the other, and how they are similar and how they are different. And I have to say that just because something is faster doesn't mean it's better,
Mm,
because sometimes we automate things that actually need more time, like onboarding or giving feedback. And this is where the difference between efficiency and effectiveness really matters, because efficiency is about doing things quickly with less money, less time, but effectiveness is about doing the right things in the right moment and in a way that actually works for people. So, for example, you can send 1,000 internal messages with perfect timing, but if no one connects with them, if no one sees himself in them, so what's the point of sending those 1,000 messages and emails?
yeah.
So when I think of efficiency and if I'm getting too efficient, I always ask myself three questions. Does this help people feel seen? Does it create clarity or just it confuses people? And does it build trust? Because that's what experience is. It's not a metric, it's not 100
Mm,
sent emails or messages. It's the feeling that people carry with them in their heart long after the process is over, the hiring process and the onboarding and the everything. So efficiency should support the experience, but it should never replace the human parts that actually makes it meaningful.
yeah. Thank you. I love that you have the three questions. I'm sure some people are like taking notes because there's like super practical advice to have a quick check when you're doing things. So thank you for sharing that as well. Practical advice, always super welcome. So let's zoom out a bit and look at what might be coming next. If you had to imagine what the employee experience might look like in 5 years' time, what would you hope to see and what would you hope not to see?
Mm. Well, my main pain is that I want to see companies and HRs and employer branding specialists stop treating employee experience and employer branding like a campaign. Like we have to hire 100 people now and we're doing employer branding because we need those people. No, it's not done like this. It's not an initiative you can run once a year or whenever you need it. It's actually every day. So it's how you build your company. Every system, every conversation, every choice you make shows people what they can expect from you. So in 5 years, I'd love to see more companies building experiences with their people, not for them. I would love to see fewer slogans and more listening. I would love to see fewer values on the wall that companies love so much. And I want to see more behavior that matches those values that they have on their website or on their walls. And I really love to see more EX teams, employer branding teams, HR teams shifting their work from this type of work to like working like product teams. They have to be agile, they have to use design thinking, and they have to test ideas, learn fast, adapt, prototype, and then do it all over again nonstop. Uh, and I also think that we've had enough platforms, new tech, new technology that just generates reports And I'd rather see more real connection and companies and platforms as Humand, that I so much love, that it includes people that are usually left out of the conversation, the frontline workers, the white collars, and everyone that is out there and he doesn't even feel like he belongs to this company. And another thing that I really don't want to see in 5 years, and I'm seeing that it's getting a bit of a trend now, is AI used for surveillance, because companies using tech to monitor and control instead of to support and empower. This is not a good culture. It's not good for their people and for the trust that I've already mentioned. Another thing, this is like 10 things that I don't want to see. Sorry, but there are so many.
Yeah, we
But
want to hear them all. We want to hear them all, please.
yeah, I also don't want to see culture being replaced by perks or recognition turned into gamified dashboards with no with badges that don't have any meaning. So, employee experience shouldn't be something that we measure once a year with a survey. It should be something people feel every single day in the way they've treated, trusted, challenged, and supported. So, if we don't get that part right, no tool will save us and no AI can help us.
Yeah, all great points. Thank you for sharing them all. Like, honestly, I wanted even more lists. I think those are all such good points. I also love that earlier you mentioned a lot, like the forgotten parts of the workforce, like the front line. I worked in the front line for a long time. So I love that now we're already starting with this type of tool like Human. That's why I'm so passionate about Human and the power of it. In 5 years, hopefully, we will be all past that. But definitely what you mentioned, it is about all the strategies. So um, taking advantage of all your expertise, especially of all the work that you do with these strategies with the companies, I'd love to know from your side, what's the one thing that you'd like HR and EX leaders to start doing right now to prepare to what's next? So we talk about the 5 years, but surely we need to start getting ready. So what's your number one advice for these HR and EX leaders to start doing right now?
So maybe the first one would be to just don't be afraid of what's coming, because it's either it's going to be awful or it's going to be an opportunity to build something meaningful and value. So another thing that I would advise them is to stop overcomplicating things. Just start small. I see lots and lots of EB people from my industry just building some great strategies for 5 years ahead. And you don't need that. You don't need a big strategy to improve the employee experience or your employer brand. Pick just one small thing, one little thing that is clearly not working, and fix it. Talk to your people. Ask how it really feels to work here at our company. Try something, even if it's not perfect. Don't wait for it to be perfect, because it's never going to be perfect. Then just adjust it, edit it, redo it again. And this is how actually progress happens. Mm, Also, another thing that I see, and I think that people should stop doing, is stop guessing what people need. Just ask them. Not just what benefit would you like to have in our company, but real questions like, what is something that frustrates you at work? What is something that gets you on your nerves? Or what is one thing that would make your week or your work feel easier? And don't wait for those annual surveys to figure things out, because most of the important stuff in the things people don't say are in the meetings or in the way they check out or leave quietly. So if there is one thing I'd ask every HR, EB, or EX leader to do, it's just to listen more and more actively, and then actually do something with the information that you hear, because if you hear something is not okay and people keep sharing but nothing changes, then they'll stop talking. And that's when you actually lose them, even if they're showing up to work every day and they're performing good and they're meeting their targets. But yeah, this is mainly what I think HR should do to prepare
Yeah.
themselves for the future, for the tsunami of changes that is coming
Yeah.
our way.
I love it, Bensi. I hope that the HR and employee experience leaders that are listening were taking notes and they can actually start taking actions today. Because I think you shared some great points there. So thank you. Um, Something else that we're thinking about AI. So we mentioned the things to do and the things not to do. What do you think are the common mistakes that, you know, companies are trying that are making when they're trying to improve the employee experience, like with AI especially, because earlier we were talking about the AI. What is it that they're doing that quite often they're getting wrong?
Yeah. Well, it's always about do something and see how it works. But one of the biggest mistakes is thinking that AI will fix an already broken process just because
Mm.
it makes it faster. As I said previously, if it's faster, it doesn't mean it's better. So if the experience is bad to begin with, no amount of automation will save it. Actually, you just make the frustration happen quicker. And I've seen this with things like onboarding or even feedback. Even I did it recently. I just automated the feedback to our candidates, to the candidates that are applying for positions with our clients, and I automated it, and the feedback was awful. Like, people were calling me and, what company are you calling from? What is this feedback? I need some more personal feedback that is really related to my application, not just a general one. So I
Mm.
also do those kind of mistakes when I want to make things efficient.
Mm-hmm.
So onboarding, feedback, even recognition, if it feels cold on transactional or unclear when a human does it, so automating it with AI won't suddenly make it feel warm or meaningful. It will just make it feel even more empty. Uh, Another mistake that I'm seeing with companies using AI is that they use it in an invasive way, like monitoring behavior or predicting resignations based on people's activity. That might sound clever in theory. I've also fallen for that in times, but it actually erodes trust because people don't want to to feel like they're in Big Brother. You know it, right? They don't want to be watched. They want to be feel and seen, like they want to be seen but not watched. Just to make clear, and yeah, AI can improve the experience, of course, this is what we are talking about, but only if you know what you're solving. Otherwise, you're just scaling a bad experience.
Yeah. And in terms of earlier as well, you shared a little bit like the part that it gets faster, or like we're looking at the year reports, we're looking at loads of reports, but then sometimes there isn't the real substance in there. What's the way that you think that actually we should be measuring success in employee experience? Like, what should we be moving towards in terms of measuring that quality?
Mhm. Well, I think that we should stop focusing so much on quantity and we should move to quality. And we need to stop relying only on what's easy to measure just because it's easy to measure and we know how to measure the likes, the reach, and everything. But just because something fits in a dashboard doesn't mean it tells the whole story of your people. um, High engagement doesn't always mean things are great. Sometimes it just means that people are good at adapting, they're adaptable, or they're just afraid to speak up and to stand for themselves, or they're just simply trying to survive. And sometimes low engagement doesn't always mean failure. It might just mean that people are being honest for once, or even the silence is an answer, actually. And we
Mm.
need to start paying more attention to quiet signals. And this is like when people stop volunteering ideas, when no one is challenging anything in the meetings or in the decision company makes, when people smile but don't really care, you see it in their eyes, they're empty. When they stop recommending their friends and family to come and work for the company, that's the thing that it's harder to track. But this is where the truth sits. And I also think that we need to start asking better questions, not just like in every survey, annual survey, are you satisfied? But we need to ask people what actually makes you stay here and what would make you leave for the other company. And actually, when was the last time that you felt proud to work here?
Mm.
This is what I think. And success in employee experience and in employer branding, of course, shouldn't be a score, an NPS score. It should be a feeling people carry and share outside with their loved ones and everyone, even when they are no longer on payroll.
Very wise words. Thank you so much, Vinci. Like, I think you covered like so many points, and I've been thinking, I'm like, oh, yes, I need to make sure, like, all the questions, especially that you shared, I'm like, okay, I'm going to rewatch the recording and note them down. I am. So, yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. I was just looking at the comments because that was all my questions for today. But I just wanted to see if there was any comments in the live as well. So for anyone watching, just going to give you a few more minutes if you want to share some of your ideas as well, following up on what Venci shared today, or if you have any other questions that we can take advantage of this time that we have with Venci and get some more um, knowledge and expertise.
I love to answer questions, especially ones that I'm not prepared for. So it's going to be good to have them.
Let's see some challenging questions we want. I
If we
don't
don't have any, maybe. Mm, do we have any?
I am seeing some nice comments. I can see nice work and excellence. So thank you, Thomas and Luisa. And hi to Argentina as well. The importance of communicate the right message in the right tools. So yeah, definitely. No more questions. I don't know if you want to leave us with some more thoughts, Vinci. Maybe there was something else that you wanted to share that I haven't asked you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just wanted to say something small, like an advice, a practical advice that people can start using in their work even tomorrow. Something that it doesn't cost any money, but it's really powerful. And oh, okay, we're seeing questions.
But I think now I'm very curious about what you were about to say. So let's go with that one and then we read them.
So I wanted to say that if you want to attract people, you first have to show your people. And by that, I mean really, really show them, not just the Employer brand video with the good music and the transitions and the polished ideas and the polished office. But candidates are curious and they want to know who are they going to work with and what kind of people lead the team, who is there and how is the office looking, where is the coffee machine, what is the coffee actually. So if we want to start building a good employee experience and attract people, we should start from there. We should start from opening the doors virtually and physically even, and just show candidates, potential candidates and the real candidates, what is like to be with us and what is like to work in our office, even it's a virtual one, and who are our colleagues and our people, what they do, how they speak, where they started from and where they are now, and what's their life story and how they end up here in our company, and how the values of our company are talking to their personal values. Because I've seen that many companies are always speaking about their values as a company and how the CEO embodies all of those values, but a few talk about how those values are connected with the employees' values and where they
Mm.
meet. So this is something that everyone could do, and it doesn't cost them a cent.
Yeah, I love that. Like just trying to already feel what it feels like to live in that company, like because it's such a big part. So yeah, thank you for that. Also, you mentioned coffee, and when I went to Bulgaria, the coffee was really good. So now I'm thinking, yeah, before joining, maybe I move to a Bulgarian office, and just feel what it feels like. No, but no, I'm joking about the coffee. I know it was more about the culture, but no, thank you for that. I think in the meanwhile, we actually did have a couple more questions. So, what advice would you give to HR leaders who want to start exploring AI but don't know where to begin?
Again, just start small. Try a couple of AI tools like ChatGPT or Claude or Perplexity or whatever works for you. See how it feels for you. See, also just try to find the repetitive tasks that are eating up your time, and just try to delegate it to the AI and see how it works. You don't have to bring the AI in the whole HR strategy or in every process that you use. You just start small.
Thank you. Now we have some more, Vinci. You asked for it, so some more coming. So, Catalina says, you said employee experience should be felt every day, not just
Mhm.
measured once a year. Yes, I love that bit. Could you share some simple examples of things companies can do to make that happen?
Mm. Just remembering the names of your people should be a good start. I think that companies should focus on the moments, and mm, you don't and I don't when I speak about employee experience and small moments, I think that leaders should know more personal stuff about their employees so they can connect with them, and they should know when, in what stage, not of the employee journey but of the life journey, this person is.
Mm.
Like, is he getting married? Is he having a baby? Is he having some, I don't know, some issues with his health or whatever? And I think that companies should customize the experience and the perks and even the birthday presents that they give to their employees, if they have any, to the stage, to the life stage that the person is in. And this is actually a customized employee experience. So let's create gifts and company merch that actually adds value, and it's actually meaningful for the person that is getting it.
Yeah, I love it. It makes it so much more personal.
Mhm.
Uh, Also, you remind me, you said remember the names. It seems so like I know you said it like with a smile, but it's so important, especially in big companies. You've
Yeah.
actually reminded me when I worked at the airport for a long time, and there was a pilot, one of the captains. The crew, there was so many people, like they worked in the crew, and he used to write the names of the crew in his hat, but never used to show that he was reading. And people just felt so seen. And it was like, oh, you remember my name from
Yeah.
months ago. So, it is those things that make people feel seen and valued. So, yeah, I think those are such good reminders. So, yeah, thank you for that. It really like stayed with me when you were sharing all of that. Um, Hold on, there's a few more coming. So, employee experience. You've worked with teams that had no emails or access to intranets. Like I was saying, I worked in the front line, so some of those. What's one lesson you learned from reaching people in those environments?
Well, for me, the biggest lesson wasn't just about the channel, it was about the tone. because you can't speak to everyone the same way. I cannot speak to the accountant or the manager as I speak to the frontliner. And if you're trying to reach people who don't sit in front of a screen, who move all day, who don't check their email, you have to adapt to their workflow, to their rhythm, to what actually motivates them. And that actually changes everything from the language that you use to the timing to the tools. And I've worked with teams, as you know, like that. And the question there isn't how do we send more and more and more information about our brand. It's about what's the easiest possible way for them to feel part of this without using the terms as brand and belonging and whatever. And this is actually why I so much love tools like and Humand, because they don't make people go through 10 steps just to connect and see what the CEO sent us. It's just simple, it's accessible, and it actually respects and adapts to the way people work in their everyday life.
Super. Thank you for that. I think there's a last question, and then we will need to finish the session because we're almost at time. I think you said a few things about this earlier, but let's see if you have any more about this. Karina asked, you mentioned how employee experience starts even before someone applies. What small things a company could do differently at the early stage to stand out? I know you mentioned a bit about this earlier in terms of getting that feeling, but I don't know if you want to add a little bit around that to answer Carolina.
Yeah, I think that if you want to activate the people before they apply, so they're called in our language, they're called passive candidates. So if you want to activate them, we need to connect with their values, as I said, and we need to show them that we are a community where they could fit. And of course, this is not for everybody. We shouldn't talk like everybody can fit here. We should personalize and customize our messaging as companies to the people that we want to hear us and to see us. And if we do that in the right way, in the right channels, with the right messagings, the right candidates will come to us by themselves without even thinking of applying. They will start being fans of our companies, of our brands. They will start following us on the social media. They will start checking our website just like this because they're curious, because we spoke in their language or we said something that they feel like they could have said. And this is actually how we're building employee experience even before the person thinks of applying in our company.
Super. Yeah. Thank you, Ventsy. Those are good questions. I think we're at times spot on 45 minutes. So, perfect. Thank you so much, Ventsy. it flew by though. I wanted more, Ventsy. Thank you. Honestly, it's been a real pleasure having you with us today. Also, thanks to everyone that was watching. Thanks to the people that added the questions. Of course, we are here on LinkedIn. If there were more questions, who knows, maybe you think of this late, you thought of this too late, or you're watching this later as the recording. You can always have some questions. We're always looking on LinkedIn as well. Also, if there's anyone watching that is curious and wants to take the employee experience where you are to the next level, want to put in practice the advices that you heard today, and also if you want to explore how Humand can help you to make your organization connect better with your people, please scan the QR code you see on screen, and then you can learn more. You can book a short intro with our team, and then of course you can see Ventsy profile as well, her amazing agency Workvibes. So you can also check out all the amazing stuff that she does. I invite you to do that. And yeah, thank you for the time. But honestly, Ventsy, thank you so much. I really enjoyed this chat.
Me too. Thank you. And also, let's invite people to come and meet us, both white companies, both of our companies, at our EB Summit and Employer Branding Summit on the 26th of November in Sofia, Bulgaria.